Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Deidre Anderson and I write adult contemporary romance with black girls and the men who love them. So if you're into interracial romances, multicultural romances, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ding that notification bell so you can know each and every time I publish or release a book or have some extra author news to share with you. I have a rocky author journey and I will share it all. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're in for a bumpy ride or want to follow along my journey. And go ahead and hit that like button so I know that you like what I'm doing and you appreciate the content that I'm putting out. Okay, so this will be episode 5 in the Tropey Wednesdays series. So if you're interested in learning about some tropes, some romance shows in particular, then go ahead and stay tuned because this will be one of the videos for you. All right, welcome back. So again, I said this is video 5 in the Tropey Wednesdays video series. All right, and the tropes we will be discussing today, if you see me looking down, it's because I'm on my computer as usual. So the tropes we will be discussing today are celebrity, cowboy, class warfare, Cyrano, and disguise. So it's a good little mix this week, so let's get right to it. The first trope we'll be discussing is celebrity. As the name suggests with most of these tropes, they involve what you hear. So this trope involves you writing about a celebrity, a famous person. So it's often more in this can be in as in a movie star or someone who is an influencer or someone with some form of fame. You know, they're famous. If they go out on the street, people know them. So you involve a lot of paparazzi. You know, their business ain't private, so everyone knows their business. So if you're dating it by association, everyone will be in your business too. So it can create a fun dynamic about writing. It does lead us a lot of uncomfortable situations. The trick here with this trope is to not have your celebrity hero be overly stuck up, unless that's what you're going for. But I've read a lot of books written with this trope where the characters come off stuck up and unlikable when that's not exactly, you can tell that's not exactly where the story wanted to be going, because then they would have there'll be like moments where they're battling with themselves. So we want to stick to a consistent personality type for the celebrity, right? Of course, the celebrity, just as in real life, being a celebrity is not easy. So we want to show all the struggles that the celebrities is going through with maintaining their image and maybe creating an image if they're brand new, right? Which may mean that they may have to be selective about who they date. Worse, most of them may not be looking to fall in love because it's a lot to juggle, especially not wanting to put someone else into the spotlight that may not want to be there, right? So oftentimes in the part of the trope that breaks the characters apart is oftentimes because of something related to the celebrity lifestyle. So maybe something gets exposed that was not supposed to, whether it being based on a non-celebrity protagonist that may have said a little bit too much to the paparazzi, or maybe it's basically the life of the celebrity that puts the non-celebrity person's life in jeopardy based on, maybe you could have paparazzi becoming violent, you may have threats, because celebrities, especially when you're in the public eye, a lot of us here on AutoTube as actually experiences, not that we're the celebrities now, But you know, once you're in the public eye, your life is in the public eye, and then so you get a lot of critics, you get a lot of people that like you, and then you also get a lot of people that don't. So the same thing with a celebrity, where there may be people that don't like them, and that's in a whole on a whole puts the non-celebrity person's life in danger. So you play along with these pushes and pulls that comes with a celebrity lifestyle, and that's what basically drives your relationship when using that trope. All right. So the second trope we'll be discussing is the cowboy. All right, now I know the cowboy is a popular trope in romance, especially right now. All right, us readers like their cowboys. All right, so this is exactly as it sounds. You'll be writing one of your heroes will be a cowboy, or both of your heroes could be cowboy and cowboys, or cowboys and cowgirls. You know, it's basically life on a ranch. So you want to dive deep south. It's not, you would assume that it's always small town, but not necessarily. I've seen this done in multiple ways. The only constant is that there is a cowboy. So this could be a cowboy in ranch life, showing them the slow summers, the caring for their ranch, and you know, walking around with their cowboy hats, showing their southern personality in a small town. Or I've also seen it where they're sort of like playing on another trope, the fish out of water trope. We haven't discussed that yet. We will further down in the series. But basically where you take the cowboy out of the south and you throw them into a big city. You know, that alone, can't speak today, forces them to interact with their setting differently. So it gives you a lot of tension and a lot of things that you wouldn't have necessarily in their small town that they're used to, right? Things may be done a little bit different in the big city, and they will have to navigate that. And of course, your love interest will be the one to help them through. Also, I've seen it done in the reverse, where the love interest may not be from their small town, but the love interest goes to the small town. And also, I've seen it where, as I said, they could both be from the southern area, so they're used to ranch life, they're used to the south, and they just fall in love. In the south setting, you get a lot of ranch life. You see them on a day-to-day. You see some, if it's historical, they may be riding horses. If it's contemporary, they may be driving pickup trucks, they may be driving tractors. So it's just, do your research. If you're not from a southern area, if you've never been on a ranch, I just moved here. If you've never been in the country area, do your research, because believe me, take it from me, from someone who is new to that country lifestyle, it's a whole different ball game. All right, so keep that in mind as you write and as you research if you want to dabble in the cowboy trope. All right, so the third one we'll be talking about is class warfare. Now, this trope is particularly used in historical. I'm sure you could find some creative way to use it in modern contemporaries, but I mostly see it used in historicals. It's essentially class warfare. So it's essentially someone from two different classes, two different social classes. Maybe you have the aristocrats, maybe you have the persons from the lower classes that are not aristocrats. They're not from that social circle, right? Falling in love. It's often paired with the forbidden romance type. So think of, trying to think of an example here because it's easier to explain with an example. Think of, think of Bridgerton, right? I don't know if you've watched or read the Bridgerton series, right? But think of Bridgerton and think of, say, Anthony, the brother, who was always going, not his own love story, but in the original book, in The Duke and I, or in season 1 of the TV show, if you watched the TV show versus reading the book, whichever. Think of the older Bridgerton brother, how he kept going to the girl who was more of a cabaret type. She was from a lower class. She was not in the aristocracy at all, right? But he actually had genuine feelings for her. And eventually, because of the class warfare between the aristocracy and the need of an aristocratic person to fall in love with someone or marry someone from their social class, they didn't even get a chance to go forward. He was always sneaking out to meet her. He actually eventually had feelings for her, but it did not work out because the female just was not willing to look past the social classes. She couldn't see it working. So because of that, the social warfare pushed them apart. Right? Now, if you continue the series, you know that he eventually finds his loving, he eventually finds another love interest and he's happy and he has his happy ever after. But you'll have to read the series for that. I'm not giving any spoilers here, but you know that social classes tend to go with social classes. So if you're writing that trope, really ask yourself, how will this relationship influence not only me but the people around me? How will this relationship affect, because these social classes, the social classes tend to clash, right? They're basically, you can't stop who you have sparks for. You can't stop who you fall in love with, right? So how will that affect your day-to-day? Will you have to hide that you're going through? Will you have to probably sneak around? So have that influence your story and have your story progress on those factors, right? So that's if you want to write the class warfare trope. All right, now the next trope we'll be discussing is the Cyrano. Now this is literally just a fancy way of saying matchmaker, but not exactly. So this trope involves, this one is not as it sounds type trope. So in the Cyrano trope is essentially when your protagonist agrees to help the other protagonist basically woo someone else, right? But while trying to help them woo the other person, they fall for them. I don't know if I explained that correctly. So say for example, you have, I'm trying to think of a book or a TV show I saw this done well, but it's not coming to me. It's not exactly matchmaker, because in the matchmaker they're just setting up each other. It's sort of like the matchmaker. It's like that word. It's like a spin-off of the matchmaker trope, but it's where you, so say for example, right, you are the protagonist and you have a friend that your friend, you know that your friend has a crush on Michael B. Jordan. Just throwing names out there. You know your friend has a crush on Michael B. Jordan, right? So you, however, also know Michael B. Jordan, and you may have a better relationship with Michael B. Jordan than your friend does. So you agree to join forces with your friend and help them to woo Michael B. Jordan, right? But along the way, you end up having feelings for your friend. Right? Now, this gives a lot of conflict because you're supposed to be setting them up with the other person, right? You may have already successfully set them up with the other person, but you start having these feelings and you have to deal with them somehow. So you're eventually going to have to confess your feelings to that friend, and that can either go far left or far right, depending on where you are in your story or depending on how you want to craft your story. This is sometimes paired with the fake relationship trope where you decide to go generally in YA. I've always seen it in YA. I'm not sure why it's not in adult, maybe because you're supposed to be grown and know better. But I've normally seen it in YA where the protagonist decides to go in a fake relationship with the other protagonist to help them make a person jealous or woo the other person, and always end up falling for each other. So that is a Cyrano trope. So it doesn't have to be paired with fake relationship. It can be paired with any other tropes you want or any other storyline you want. It's just that one protagonist is helping the other protagonist woo or get the attention of another person that they think they like. And while going through that process, they fall for each other and they get their happy ever after together. All right, so the fifth and final trope we'll be discussing in this video is the disguise trope. This one is a little bit more straightforward. It's basically one of your characters is in disguise. Think Mulan, right? Mulan goes to the war pretending to be her brother, and while there falls for the general. Was he the general? I don't know. I haven't read Mulan or watched Mulan in a while. But that's the idea here, right? One of your characters is in disguise, and while in that disguise, they fall for someone else. Now, this creates a lot of tension because obviously you're in disguise, so you're not yourself. The person that you're having feelings for is not expecting to see you. They're not, they may actually fall in love with the disguise, the person that you're pretending to be, right? And then when they find out that you're not that person, it creates conflict, all right? Or they may actually not like the person that you're pretending to be, but you like them, and you know that they may appreciate or like you if you were actually you, or you find out that they actually like you as a person, as a real person, but you can't tell them that you are that person because you're in disguise. So regardless of what direction you take it, it tends to give you a lot of tension, a lot of conflict. It can have some comedic effect to it depending on how it's written. So if you want to do the disguise trope, you can have a lot of fun with it. Just go forth, ensure that you execute it well. If you are supposed to be in disguise, you can't be, so you can show the character having feelings, but you can't, obviously you can't go out and tell the character things as yourself because you're in disguise, unless you want to do it, play it that way as like a slip up or a slip of the tongue. But be careful in that regard. All right, so those were the 5 tropes that we'll be discussing today. Just to recap, we spoke about the celebrity, cowboy, class warfare, Cyrano, and disguise. All right, so if you think I left anything out in this video, or if you have any questions about any of these tropes, feel free to drop them down below and we'll start a conversation. All right, again, these videos will be posted every Wednesday in the Tropey Wednesday series. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ding that bell if you want to be notified each time they are released, or if I decide to pop on and drop other videos in between about my author journey or something that I think that you guys should know about. All right, again, my name is Deidre Anderson. I write adult contemporary romance. So if that's your thing, also hit that like button so I know that you are following along my journey and you like my content. All right, until next time, be kind to each other, treat everything with love, approach every situation with love, and we will talk next time. Bye, guys.